ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Om. Continuing yesterday's discussion, we shall take up today Suktam 4, which is from Somahuti Bhargava, Rishi, Devata Agni, Chandas Tushtu. Huveva Sudyotamanam Huveva Sudyotmanam Huveva Sudyotmanam. O sacrificers, we shall invoke the Agni who is shining well, is selfless, is honored by all as a respected guest, and is bestower of food. That resplendent Agni, who is a knower of all born creatures, and is like a friend, holds all enlightened persons and ordinary men in correct perspective. This is by way of introduction to indicate the fact that the sage is to give a discourse on Agni. A few tributes of Agni are also listed here. As these have been elaborated earlier, no explanation is given here about them. 2.4.2 Imam Vidhanto Apam. The scholars invoking this Agni upheld him in two places. One in the water-bearing clouds in the atmosphere, and the other in the midst of sacrificers as sacrificial fire. This Agni, who is a passion of enlightened souls and is a fast mover, became the pervader of all living creatures. The two forms of Agni implied here are latent heat of vaporization of water or lightning in the atmosphere and fire on the earth. In the second half, it is being stated that the same Agni is present in the bodies of living beings as Jataragni, and is the third form of energy. 2.4.3 Agnim Devaso Manushishu Vikshu. Enlightened souls brought that Agni who was residing in his secret dwelling and who is like a dear friend among human beings. That Agni, satisfied by the skill of the oblations giving sacrifices, shines brightly in their homes at all nights. Intelligent men invented Agni for the first time. This form of energy was not manifested before, or it lay hidden within the earth or with the self in the heart space of human beings. For that reason, Agni is a friend of human beings. The fire of knowledge brightly shines even in the darkness of the night in the bodies of enlightened souls. This is the implied meaning of the Rig. 2.4.4 Asya Ranva Swaseva Pushti. His growth is as agreeable as one's own growth. So also is the wonderful sight of his growth, burning dried wood and other combustible materials. That Agni, with his tongue-like flames, is seen spreading among the herbs like a chariot horse wagging his tail to and fro. Growth of Agni is delightful to watch as the growth of one's own body. The fire grows by burning easily combustible materials and spreads very fast on the surface of the earth in the presence of shrubs, especially in the dry seasons. The flames jumping from one plant to another is like the wagging of the tail of a horse. Ayan me Abhvam 2.4.5. Whose immense power sacrificers associated with me admire, he manifests in his true form to such desiring sacrificers. He appears in delightful multicolored flames. Even after decaying, he becomes young again. A sacrificial fire appears in front of sacrificers in multicolored flames. It may appear to be dead sometimes, but again burns brightly with oblations of food articles or fuel. The soul of energy, Agni, the manifested self, reveals himself to sacrificers who meditate on the self, offering their ego as oblation. Ayovana 2.4.6. He shines consuming forest trees as though thirstily. He moves like flowing waters, making noise like a chariot horse. Along his path blackened by smoke, emitting heat all around. His light makes the space visible, just like the sky illumined by the stars. Agni appearing as forest fire is described here. This fire consumes forest trees quickly, like a thirsty man drinking water. Movement of fire among trees is smooth and natural as the downward flow of water. Its path is marked by the black smoke it emits. The ruk needs no further explanation. 2.4.7. Sayo Vyasthadabhi. That Agni appears in different forms. Approaching the earth, he upholds it. On his own, Agni moves like a cow without a cowherd, possessing flames in abundance, troubling men with black smoke as though enjoying the products of creation on the earth and burning all shrubs in his path. Agni or energy manifests in different forms. In the form of fire, it is present on the earth. Rest of the ruk is a description of fire spreading on the ground, burning all kinds of matter in the form of shrubs, plants, trees, etc. 2.4.8. Nute Purvasyavaso. O Agni, based on your earlier protection, we now invoke you in our third deliberation. Please give us groups of disciplined warriors equipped with vast food grains, prosperity, good progeny, and other riches. Agni has been giving protection to human beings as Jatsagni from the time human forms appeared on the earth. Energy appeared even before in the bodies of other living creatures as well as in non-living forms such as the sun and the stars. Men started making use of different forms of energy for gaining the articles or riches desired by them. Third deliberation means evening discourse. Rest of the ruk is self-explanatory. The last ruk in this sukta is 2.4.9. Tvaya yatha Gritsamadaso. O Agni, wise person, delight in the company of similar scholars. Likewise, they, with their wisdom and warriors, dispel darkness and thrash out proud and adamant enemies. May they be possessed of that wealth hidden in the cave of the heart through you. In the same way, you please bestow on the scholars who invoke you that energy and food. This is basically a concluding prayer addressing to Agni for giving knowledge of the self and other physical wealth such as energy, food, etc. We go to the next sukta, Suktam 2.5. This is again from sage Somahuti Bhargava. Devata is Agni, Chandas is Anushtup. 2.5.1 Hota Janishta Chetana. The soul of energy, Agni, father or protector, manifested as the acceptor of sacrifice for the protectors of the space and the earth. May we, keeping close association with energy Agni, be successful in obtaining regulated worthy of achieving wealth. First part of the work deals with the manifestation of energy caused by manifested self. Energy is the driving force behind all activities in the space and on the earth. Bearing this fact in mind, seer of the Sukta is hoping to obtain noble wealth, physical and knowledge by invoking or meditating on Agni. 2.5.2 Ayasmin Sapta. That purifier, Agni Atma, whose 7 rays are spread, is conductor of sacrifice, is full of shining qualities like human beings. Making up the 8th member, he illuminates the universe. Agni radiates 7-colored light. Agni, together with his 7-colored light, illumines the universe. Human beings are endowed with 5 sensory organs, the mind, intelligence and ego, making up 8 qualities. Through them, light of consciousness of the self illuminates the universe. This is the similarity between a human being and Agni. 2.5.3 Dadhanveva Yadimanu. The way Agni of the sun holds the water particles, likewise a scholar composes Vedic hymns himself, knowing all inspired hymns and circumscribing them. Agni becomes like the rim of a wheel. As the sun with his rays holds the water vapor in the atmosphere, a scholar holds within himself Vedic hymns because of the light of consciousness of the self. Agni, the soul of energy, spiritual, therefore encompasses the composition of all hymns. 2.5.4 Sakam hi Shudina Shuti. Agni, who is a purifier and instructor, is born by the holy action of the Creator. A learned scholar grows up following his Ruta like the branches of a tree. Learned scholars know the origin of Agni to be the self. They also know Ruta, the eternal laws of nature governing Agni and other basic elements. Thus, one grows up physically. His knowledge also grows all the time like branches on a tree. 2.5.5 Ta asya Varnamayuvo. Girls who are like sisters approach the Agni. After attaining him, like male cows, they invoke the 3 forms of that leader of sacrifice, Agni, who is acceptable and most excellent. The sisters could be dawns or dawn and night. referred to earlier. Manifesting daily, they seem to invoke Agni present in the space, in the atmosphere and on the earth. We go to the next. So next ruk 2.5.6. Yadi Madhurupa Swasa, if sister of Mother Earth brings water streams to the earth, on the arrival of these flowing waters, Agni, who institutes the sacrifice, is happy like barley plants on the arrival of rain. It seems that inert forms of matter characterized as feminine and Agni or energy is considered as masculine. Air manifesting from the same cause as earth can be considered as sister of the Mother Earth. Air brings water to earth. Agni in lightning or in the water vapor as latent heat is happy because he has helped air to produce rain. Agni on the earth is happy because rainwater causes more plants to grow on the earth, which means more food for the fire. 2.5.7 Swaya. May the sacrificer on his own perform sacrifice regularly for his own protection. Therefore, we prepare the hymns and the sacrifices sufficiently so that we shall all be happy. Here sacrifice may mean either gross one with physical oblations made to a sacrificial fire or a knowledge sacrifice with auspicious hymns. Common men should help sacrificers to perform sacrifices because they bring happiness to all. Last ruk in the Sukta 2.5.8. Yatha vidvang aram. O Agni, the way a learned scholar honors all other worship-worthy scholars properly and sufficiently, in the same way, this sacrifice that we perform is meant for you only. A wise man knows the worth of other wise men, so they always respect each other. Give respect and take respect goes a well-known saying. The whole ruk implies the following. Sacrificers, being wise men, are invoking Agni since he is considered as the most knowledgeable of all. We go to Suptam 66. Again, from the same Rishi, same Devata, Chandas is Gayatri. Imam me Agne 2.6.1. O Agni, this faggot procured by me is approaching you in this altar. Please listen to these praises attentively. I am fanning Agni with fuel in the form of this new hymn. This is the implied meaning of this ruk. 2.6.2. Ayate Agni. O Agni, you are of unfailing power. You are provider of all sacrifices and are of noble birth. We invoke you by this auspicious hymn. First part of the ruk lists some characteristic attributes of Agni. 2.6.3. Tam tva girbhi. O giver of wealth, Agni, worshippers invoke you only, who is the Lord of praises and is bestower of. Food and knowledge with hymns. Agni is praised by this hymn. Some more of his attributes are mentioned here. 2.6.4. Sabodhi Surir Maghava. O possessor of wealth, giver of wealth, possessor of food and knowledge, you please hear this prayer and keep us away from actions that lead to enmity. Some more virtues of Agni here, and a prayer addressed to him to purify the minds of sacrificers. 2.6.5 Sano Vrishtim Divaspari. May he give us rains from the clouds in the atmosphere. He only gives us horseless chariots, energy, and thousands of wealth and food. Energy in water vapor carried by the clouds is responsible for giving rain. The heat carrying water vapor moves in the atmosphere along with the clouds driven by the wind. Or Agni seems to move in a horseless chariot. Fire powers present-day vehicles, including aerospace engines. 2.6.6 Ilanaya Vasyave. O Agni, you are very youthful, are tormentor of the wicked, are worship-worthy, are acceptor of sacrifice. By our praiseful hymns, may you come here to me, who is invoking you for protection. This is a request to Agni to come and hear this hymn. 2.6.7 Andarhyagna Iyase. O all-knowing Agni, being inside the body, you are friendly to a man like a good gentleman and are tormentor of the wicked. You reach us knowing our past and present births. Agni in this rit may be referring to Vaishwanara Agni or Jఠara Agni. With this explanation, the rit becomes easily understandable. Last rit in the Sukta, 2.6.8. Savidvan Acha. This shining knower of Vedas, Agni, gives us knowledge in proportion to our present and past deeds. He sits in our bodies and in the universe, and he protects us. Agni, the soul of energy, provides energy required for all activities in the universe, including those of all human beings. Next, Suktam 7 is from same Rishi, same Devata, and same Chandas. Shreshtham Yavishtha 2.7.1. O Agni, ever youthful, bearer of appellations and most beneficent, please get us wealth which is excellent, illuminating and desired by many. Most of the riks in this sutta are simple and do not need much elaboration. Excellent wealth here implies knowledge of the self, which is definitely the most excellent, and knowledge is wealth. 2.7.2 Mano Aratirishata. Mano Aratirishata is 2.7.2. O Agni, may those who are enemies of learned men and ordinary men not harm us. Also, please help us to get over different types of evil thoughts. Here the enemies common to all categories of human beings are evil thoughts within each one's mind. 2.7.3 Vishwa Udatvayamaya. O Agni, may we win over all our evil thoughts which flow like water currents through you only. Evil thoughts flow through human minds as freely as water currents. 2.7.4 Shujipamaga Vandyogane. O Agni, you are pure, purifier, and praiseworthy. You are burning brilliantly with oblations of ghee. Outwardly, Agni here may appear to be a sacrificial fire. The word also implies the soul of energy. Agni is a purifier like air, water, and earth. 2.7.5 Tvam no asi, O bearer of oblations, Agni, you are being invoked by us with charming, inspired, eightfold speech. Agni is being praised by this hymn, which is inspired by Agni only. Eightfold speech may stand for 8-sectioned Rigveda or Rigveda composed of 8 meters, Gayatri, etc. Last rig in this sukta, 2.7.6, Dravina. Dravanna Sarpira Asuti. 2.7.6 Dravanna Sarpira Asuti. Dravanna Sarpira Asuti. Agni is the owner of good fuel, food grains, and nourishing substances like ghee. He is ancient, he is sacrificer, he is Bhakshiparthi, he is born of strength and wonderful. This closing rig of the sukta contains many attributes of Agni, which have been explained one time or other earlier. It marks the end of Bhargava Somahuti suktas dedicated to Agni. Now we go to next rig on Agni again from sage Samada himself. Chandas is Gayatri and Anushtuk. Vajayan Ivanu 2.8.1 O sacrificers, admire the engines and vehicles of Agni, who is the most renowned and liberal while traversing his path. This sukta is again fairly simple, needing not much elaboration. Movement of Agni, who manifests in infinite diverse forms in the space, in the atmosphere and the earth, and on the earth, in the bodies of living organisms, is worth knowing about definitely. Who of Agni may mean based on Agni or driven by Agni. 2.8.2 Yah Sunitho, one who leads men nicely, is never tired. He is recognized as having nice qualities. That Agni, checking the enemy of sacrificers, get praised by them. Agni is in control of the activities of enemies within the bodies of sacrificers or external to these bodies. Ya Utsriya 2.8.3 Agni fire is admired day and night in all homes because of his brilliance. His nature never changes or diminishes. The Ruk is self-explanatory whether Agni is taken as within one's own body or outside. 2.8.4 Aya Suarna, Agni manifesting with undecaying energy shines with multicolored light, like the sun with his light rays. This gives a description of Agni, the fire, comparing it with Agni, the sun. 2.8.5 Atrimanu Swarajya. These hymns enhances the glory of that Agni who consumes all and is self-sustaining in his own way. He holds all the vast wealth within himself. The Rig as well as the whole hymn brings out more information about Agni, both within the bodies of living creatures and also external to them. Last look in the Sukta is 2.8.6. Agnirindrasya Somasya. Working without confrontation, we shall move forward with the protection of Agni, Indra, Soma, and the enlightened scholars desiring happiness and reputation. The Sukta ends with this simple prayer which is self-explanatory. Here Soma may imply flowing essence of Atma or spiritual Soma. This also marks the end of chapter 5 of Ashtakam 2. Today we shall end this session here. Viramastavat.